Shabbat Shalom. I wondered, what would be an appropriate reading to start this Shabbat, given that we are on the cusp of a wonderful evening and Shabbat for Barbara Davis, who becomes a bat mitzvah tomorrow morning, given that we come, I think, so many of us for respite and for sanctuary on Shabbat Eve, and also being so very struck by yet another shooting, another school shooting. And a colleague of mine reposted something that he had written last year when there was a shooting, and it tragically fits again. So we frame our service, as we have said before, as we hold in each of our hands the bitter and the sweet, the difficult and the simple, the lovely and the difficult. So I share these words with you by Rabbi Paul Kipnis. 2 by 2 the animals went into Noah's ark, seeking safety from the storm, 2 by 2. 2 by 2 the future was secured, ensuring that the vulnerable ones would have chance to thrive, 2 by 2. Lo ta'amod al dam re'echa. Don't stand idly by as your neighbor bleeds, teaches Torah, goading us to do for humans what Noah and God did for animals, to save them, 2 by 2. We have 2 days, little more after a shooting, when we are up in arms over the misinterpreted right to bear arms before we throw up our hands in frustration and return to our self-induced indemnification and go back to sleep. So let's take a page from Noah's Ark and save them, 2 by 2. For 2 days, let's each take 2 actions to save the most vulnerable. You might join an organization that reflects your views, or send a check to a candidate that reflects your views, or write a letter to your congresspeople that reflects your views, or attend a rally to reflect your views, or make a donation to a group that reflects your views, or write an article to reflect your views, or vote for candidates that reflect your views. And then encourage 2 friends to do 2 by 2. Yes, be like Noah. Don't stop to pray except maybe Kaddish for the dead, but hurry up and do your part 2 by 2, because we only have 2 days to protect each other, our children, our teens, our worshipers, our concert goers, before we go back to sleep. Make your 2 by 2 count. Make it now. We light these 2 candles. We welcome Shabbat. We are taught Shamor v'Zachor, that we should both keep and remember the Sabbath. That is what the 2 candles are meant to represent. And in addition, tonight, we light these 2 candles to remember the 2 lives lost at Saugus High School in Santa Clarita. We invite Barbara Davis to join us as we begin our service. Jeff and Heidi, as we begin our service on page 121 with the kindling of the Shabbat lights.
As these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we, by our lives, give light to all who behold us. As their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light, so may we, in our own day, be among those who kindle light.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lahadlik ner shel Shabbat. Blessed are you, Adonai our God, sovereign of the universe, who hallows us with mitzvot, commanding us to kindle the light of Shabbat.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lahadlik ner shel Shabbat.
We continue now. We invite you, please, in body or in spirit, to rise as we continue on page 123 with Kiddush. Please be seated. Let us continue praying responsively on page 124. May the door of the synagogue be wide enough to receive all who hunger for love, all who are lonely for friendship. May the door of this synagogue be narrow enough to shut out pettiness and pride, envy, and enmity. May it be too high to admit complacency, selfishness, and harshness. We continue now on page 129 with the singing of Erev Shabbat. When I keep Shabbat, God watches over me. It is a sign forever between God and me. The words that we just sung, the words that we celebrate, the words that we hope to live each Shabbat. Join us, please, as we continue with the singing of Lecha Dodi, which can be found on page 138. Ours is the custom to sing verses 1, 2, 5, and 9. And at verse 9, we rise as are able, and we turn to the back, and we welcome the Sabbath bride.
Ishmi
Page 145 as we continue. Entrances to holiness are everywhere. The possibility of ascent is all the time. Even at unlikely times and through unlikely places, there is no place on earth without the presence.
יתקדש ויתקדש מרבה. ועמד יברך חירותי וימליך מלכותי. בחייכון ובייכון ובחייך בית ישראל. בגלה ובזמן קריב ויאמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מבורך בעולם עולם מהמיה. יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי לקדושה. ולעמיד כל ברכתה ושירתה תושבחתה ונחמתה תמירה בעלמה ויאמרו אמן.
Page 146, we continue as we rise for the Baruch Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher b'divaro ma'ariv aravim, b'chochma poteach she'arim, u'vitfuna meshane itim, u'mechalif et hazmanim, u'mesader et ha'kochavim b'mishmartehem barakia kirtzono, borei yom v'layla, golel or mipnei choshech, v'choshech mipnei or, u'ma'avir yom u'mebi layla, Umavdil ben yom uvein laila Adonai tzevaot shemo. El chai v'kayam tamid yimloch aleinu le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai, Ama'ariv Arabim. Wisdom and wonder, passion and instruction, story and symbol. All these things your Torah gives to us, and the more we devote ourselves to it, the more it grows and gives. What could be a truer token of your abiding love than this holiest of your works, and the living language that gives it form? Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed.
Please be seated.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אני מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ומלאכתך בדרך שוכבך וקומך, וקשרתם לאור תלמידיך, והיו לטוטפות בעיניך, ובטחתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים אלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם אלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
Standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before ever we stood at Sinai's foot, that wherever we go, it is eternally Egypt, that there is a better place, a promised land, that the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness, that there is no way to get from here to there except by joining hands and marching together. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Adonai, help us to walk with good companions, to live with hope in our hearts and eternity in our thoughts, that we may lie down in peace and rise up waiting to do your will. Baruch atah Adonai, haporei sukat shalom aleinu, ve'al kol amo Yisrael, ve'al Yerushalayim. We continue now on page 162 with the singing of V'shamrim.
Thank you.
You feel like you're in the Shabbat mood? Do we need to do that one more time, or are you good? Yeah? Well, next time, Cantor Brahm, we'll do it a second time, and we'll see. Just maybe we'll do it in rounds. Would you want to try that one time? I'm seeing some resounding no's in that. So we are meant to kind of ascend, to build our way up to a wonderful moment in Shabbat, this moment where we have the right combination of individual prayerful space and communal prayerful space. This is that moment where we come to the Amidah, where we combine all that has been this past week. We take a breath, a deep breath, thinking of the things for which we are thankful, those moments unexpected or perhaps expected, but which have rippled and resonated and echoed throughout this week and for which we are deeply thankful. We continue on page 164 with the tefillah, and we invite you please to rise.
Adonai sefata b'tahu v'yagid tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Haggadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomer Chasadim Tovim, v'Konei Hakol, v'Zocher Chasei Avot v'Imachot, u'Meir Laditi b'nechem, למען שלום יחווה, מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם בעזרת שרה.
אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיי הכל אתה, רב להושיע, משיב הרוח ובהשם, מכלכל חיים בחסד, מחיי הכל ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא פורעים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר. מי כמוך בעל גבורות, ומידו מלך, מלך ממיט ומחיה, ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה לחיות הכל, ברוך אתה אדוני, בחיי הכל.
אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלע. Baruch atah Adonai, ha'el hakadosh. And please be seated. Page 173 as we continue together. May these hours of rest and renewal open our hearts to joy and our minds to truth. May all who struggle find rest on this day. May all who suffer find solace. May all who hurt find healing on this day. May all who despair find purpose. May all who hunger find fulfillment on this day. And may this day fulfill its promise. Baruch atah Adonai, Mekadesh HaShabbat. Ratzeh Adonai Eloheinu be'amcha Yisrael, u'tfilatam be'ahava tikabel, u'tehila ratzon tamid avodat Yisrael amecha. Baruch atah Adonai, she'odcha levadcha v'yira na'avod. God of goodness, we give thanks for the gift of life, wonder beyond words, for the awareness of soul, our light within, for the world around us so filled with beauty, for the richness of the earth which day by day sustains us. For all these and more we offer thanks. Baruch atah Adonai, hatov shimcha u'lecha na'eh lahudot.
Israel,
We take a few moments, each of us, in silence, in prayer, in meditation. We hold now in our hearts and in our prayers those who are aching, those for whom their bodies, their spirits, their travels right now are difficult. And we say, Mishaberach Avotenu v'imotenu Avraham Yitzchak v'Yaakov Sarah Rivka Rachel v'Leah Hu yivarech et hacholim. May the one who blessed our ancestors Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Sarah, Rebecca, Rachel, and Leah, bless and strengthen, heal those who are struggling. This evening we're holding in prayer Barb DeCario, Thomas DiMatteo, Mark Friedman, Elizabeth Friedman, Ira Coleman, Dorothy Jacobson, Shana Esther Bat-Ruchel, Howard Itkin, Chris Sura, Joel Shemaskin, Chaya Necha Bat-Rivalea, Simon Brightman, Barbara Baer, Beata Falkovich, Lawrence Post, Catriel Parachia, Ben Herschel, Laser Rosh Hashanah, Richard Reese, Marlene Gordon, Davida Beer, Michael Weisstreich, Scott Rosenfeld, Lillian Cortog, Sally Graff, Sam Webby, Joe Behrman, Sarah Bat Avraham Vasara, Tali Beckwith Cohn, Karen Stein, and those who are recovering in Santa Clarita, those who are tending to their care, those of you who are a part of the caregiving circle for those you love and who are struggling. We hold you in our prayers as well. If there are others whose names you would add to this list, or names better spoken aloud by you, please, as I look your way, would you share that name?
Ellen Finkelstein.
May the Blessed Holy One be filled with compassion for their health to be restored and their strength to be revived. May God swiftly send them renewal of body and of spirit. And let us join together in saying, Amen. Page 371. Say amen and amen. Recently, someone asked me if we Jews believe in angels. Except, despite her most excellent English, she is not in fact a native English speaker and couldn't quite find the right words for that image of angel that she was trying to explain. So she said, you know, those cute little pudgy things who hold the bow and arrow on their back and are very popular at Valentine's Day. That was the description. And the answer was yes and no. Yes, historically, we have believed in angels. They are called, in Hebrew we say the word is malach, and in English we would say that word is a messenger, and that is often in fact their function. We know from their appearance in the Torah text that an angel is in fact responsible for preventing Abraham from slaughtering his son Isaac. This we know in the Akedah. Appears to Moses in the burning bush and gives direction to the Israelites during the desert sojourn following their liberation from Egypt. And then in later biblical texts, angels are actually associated with visions and prophecies and have proper names, some which you probably would know. Later, even beyond that, in rabbinic and Kabbalistic and mystical texts, the sources expand on the concepts of angels even further, describing a whole universe of named angels with specific roles in the spiritual realm. But not all of the angelic figures in the Bible are in fact identified as such. Some have no name, and in fact this week we read, you will read tomorrow morning, and God appeared unto him, meaning Abraham, by the terebinths of Mamre, and he sat in the tent door in the heat of the day, in the tent's door in the heat of the day, and further, this is what the Hebrew reads, Vayisa einav vayar, Vahine shalosh anashim is the word, nitzavim alav. And he lifted, we're talking about Abraham, and he lifted up his eyes and looked, And lo, 3, and the word is anashim, 3 men stood by him. And when he saw them, he ran, meaning Abraham, to meet them from the tent door, and he bowed down to the earth. So the Hebrew word is anashim. But the 3 visitors who came to Abraham and Sarah in our Torah portion, Vayera, this week, are, despite their name, being called anashim, men, are unequivocally understood to be angels. Not like, wait, what an angel? They were in fact angels in the truest sense of the heavenly host. Our biblical angels are often themselves non-committal. They themselves will not say, yes, hey, I'm an angel. It's nice that they have some modesty regarding their identity. They're pretty, they fly, no pun intended, they fly under the radar screen. So yes, historically, biblically, and then later in Talmudic texts, we believed in angels and know that they had a very specific function. But no, they weren't those cute little guys dressed with red wings with the pouty tummies and the quiver of arrows and goodies in their backs. And this week's Parsha, in this week, where we read about Abraham and Sarah announcing to us this is their job, that Sarah will become what? A mother, right? And that not only will she become a mother, but to whom will she be this mother? Who knows? Who's she going to be the mother to? Isaac, right? Isaac. This is a big deal, right? This is a very big deal. And while apparently Abraham knew about Isaac's impending conception, Sarah did not. No commentary further on that one, by the way, rendering the appearance of the angels vital to those who read the text. Rabbinic literature expounds significantly on the nature of angels and their roles in biblical stories. And the Midrash, if I were to ask you for a name of an angel, one of our angels, who would you list? Gabriel, right? Gabriel, who else? Michael, right? Michael, right? And Raphael, right? These are the names that we would typically know. And this is who the Midrash also identifies as the 4 chief angels who surround the divine throne, each of whom has particular attributes. The Talmud identifies Michael, Gabriel, and Raphael as the 3 angels in our Parsha who visited Abraham to deliver the news that his wife will bear a son. And though the Bible records that the men ate a meal with Abraham, that Abraham had set out a meal for them, the rabbis actually note, this is the hair splitting of rabbis, that though the trio appeared to eat, since they were angels, they are not, in fact, physical beings. They only merely resemble them, and they never ate. Right? This is what the rabbis parse out from here. The Midrash includes many interesting depictions of angels. According to one source, Michael is made entirely of snow, and Gabriel entirely of fire. But despite their proximity, they don't actually harm one another. And this is another way, another symbol for us to understand God's power in what God can do in the highest of heights. These angels, these divine creatures created by God, aren't born. They aren't a remnant, much as we would like. They aren't a remnant of our dear departed. They come as beings, as spiritual entities created by God for a function. And as Talmud scholar Rachel Turkenitz writes, in this week's Parsha Vayera, 3 messenger angels visit Abraham, and we watch their interaction. Each of them has a specific task, and as each task is completed, the number of angels diminishes. Apparently, a messenger angel can only be responsible for one mission. Named angels like Michael, like Michael and Raphael, are eternal and may also be guardian angels, we are told. Some angels will tempt us, while others will secure us. Each of us is born with a redeeming angel who will offer themselves up for our sakes before the heavenly court. When we say the Shema at night, does anybody know how this works? When we say the Shema at night, we are able to move our redeeming angel to our children, thereby securing them with an extra angel. There is nothing in creation, not a single blade of grass that does not have an angel interacting with it. This is what we are taught. When we create friendships, we simultaneously create a friendship angel. that is nourished by our relationship. When we pray, it is the angels who take our words and weave them together so that they gain strength and beauty, and the angels bring them to God. This is what our Talmud teaches. Angels can take the form of anything in creation, including, but not limited to, people. The Torah tells us some people can see them, though most of us are unaware. So Abraham and Sarah fed them a feast, and we learn how to welcome them into our homes on Friday night. We prepare to sit at our own Shabbat feast, completely unaware. We live, as it were, in ignorance. But the Torah describes these incredibly complex creatures and how they impact our existence. And she asks, Rachel Turkenex asks, truly, where would we be without them? And yet, how many of us would say we believe in angels? We may debate the veracity of the source of the Torah. Was it divinely written, divinely given, divinely inspired, or written only by the hand of man? We may debate the timing and the sequence of events in the Torah, but what we cannot debate, whether fact or fiction, narrative or some combination of them all, there is profound wisdom offered within it. A commentary from Me'otzar Hamach Shava Shel HaChasidut asks us to consider the difference between the hospitality offered by Lot, right, we've just read about him, and by Abraham. In the case of Abraham, we are told he ran to meet them, and he bowed himself low to the ground, is what we are told. While with Lot, it states, and Lot, seeing them, rose up to meet them, and he bowed himself with his face toward the ground. With Abraham, it states he took, for all of you who are concerned about kashrut in the early parts of the Bible, keeping kosher, Abraham, it states, maybe he took butter and milk and a calf, which he had dressed and set before them. And with Lot, he made them a feast and baked unleavened bread. So if we put their two experiences side by side, there is difference. Lot, in fact, protected his guests from the wrath of the people of Sodom. We know that. So why, they ask, our sages asks, is Abraham always regarded as the paradigm of hospitality and not Lot? An answer to this is offered by one of the Hasidic rabbis. In regard to Lot, the Torah states the two angels came to Lot in evening time, and it was only because they looked like distinguished people, like angels, that Lot invited them into his home. Whereas in the case of Abraham, we are told, and he lifted up his eyes and looked, and lo, 3 anashim, 3 men stood by him. We are told 3 quite ordinary people, 3 plain people. And nevertheless, what do we know about Abraham? He ran to meet them. And this is the way of true hospitality. This is what the Hasidic rabbis teach. Abraham assumed all are deserving of his heartfelt welcome, his kindness, and his generosity, no matter their appearance. So angels may or may not have existed. Maybe they do exist in present time. Maybe not. They didn't ever appear, those cute little guys with the wings and the quiver on their back, we know. They may protect us, they may inform us, they may tempt us, they may redeem us, they may assist us in our prayer, and they may in fact be created every time a friendship is born. Whatever we may think of the malachim, of these messengers, these divine beings, intriguing and exciting to me is just the possibility that they may exist. And we may not know how or where. So maybe let us learn from Abraham. Let us be like Abraham, and let us not live unaware of their potential then and possibly now, and make certain to run toward the opportunity to greet, to welcome, to care for, and to respect others. And let us imagine a life where the stranger might possibly be an angel. We continue learning about our Parsha tomorrow with Barbara, and in the meantime, I ask if there are anyone here maybe who is under the age of 13. Now, maybe usually we say somebody who's not bar or bat mitzvah yet, and under the age of 13. We come up for a blessing. And those of you, I would invite those of you who are here with your own adult children, those of you who are here with a friend, those of you who are here with a seatmate, maybe to also spend a couple of moments and offer a blessing to them. As we offer this blessing to you, I love that you're wearing red for our story and the heart like our angels maybe we're wearing. And we offer God's blessing to you. We are excited to know that maybe you are one of those angels. Maybe you are the seed of one of those angels growing and blossoming. We are excited as you are doing your Jewish learning and you're loving and you're living. We know that you are here often to offer God's blessing, to offer this special blessing to you, and for you to offer this blessing to your children as well. May God bless you, may God keep you. God's face be turned to you, may God be gracious with you. May the fullness of God's presence, may all that is good and kind with God be with you, and may you be blessed with peace always. And let's join together and say, Amen. Amen. And as you're returning to your seat, we're going to invite you, please, to join us as you rise. We turn to our concluding prayers. The Elena on page 586. Page 599 as we continue. We think of our loved ones whom death has recently taken from us, those who died at this season in years past, and those whom we have drawn into our hearts with our own. This evening during the period of Shloshim, this Shabbat, we are remembering the loss of Chuck Frame, of Lorraine Litt, sister-in-law of Bob and Rona Litt, aunt of Sarah Beth Kanabrowski, Susie Fox, sister of Linda Beckwith and aunt of Jody Beckwith, Edward Scott Long, brother of Shelley Long, and also Gracie Ann Muehlberger, who was lost in Saugus in Santa Clarita, along with the not yet named 14-year-old young man who also perished in the shooting in Santa Clarita. Tonight marks the yahrzeit and anniversary of passing for Elaine Adler, for Samuel Agins, Charles August, Harry Behrman, Ernest Brownell Jr., Sheila Burton, Zelda Druce, Arlene Foreman, Louis Fromm, Alice Geiger, Solomon Gold, Sadie Goldshine, Haskell Goldstein, Jacob Gould, Yuda Gurovich, Stanley Handelman, Sina Hoffman, Mary Israel, Eleanor Cantor Naftal, Miriam Kasich, Oscar J. Krasner, Harry Kruskal, Manuel Liederman, Clifford Lovenheim, Earl Lovenheim, Alan McPherson, Melvin Neisner, Dorothy Zaretsky Ruth, Brian Salerno, Solomon Saltiel, Saul Skirker, Laura Scully, Jonathan Taub, and Deborah Wittenberg. If there are other names that you would add to either list, or names better spoken aloud by you, please, as I look your way, would you share that name aloud with us? Zichronam livracha, may their memories be for a blessing. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shmei Rabbah, be'alma divrach yirutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayei uvyamei uvchayei dechol beit Yisrael, ba'agala uvizman kariv v'imru, amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevarach le'olam olmei almaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shmei dekudasha b'richu, le'elam min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechamata, da'amiran be'alma v'imru, amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shamaya, v'chaim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru, amen. Oseh shalom b'mramav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel, v'imru, amen. May the one who creates harmony on high bring peace to us, to all who are mourning, to all Israel, as we join together in saying, Amen. Please be seated. We want to share a few brief announcements with you. We want to offer early best wishes to Barbara and her family as she becomes a bat mitzvah tomorrow morning. Please be sure to join us. Can I give a little spoiler alert for those maybe who can't be here? There are going to be 5 generations in Barbara's family tomorrow. Her dad will be here. She becomes bat mitzvah. Her children are here. Her grandchildren will be here, and she has a first great-grandchild. Be with us tomorrow if you are able, and come celebrate. This is the chain of Torah. This is how we thrive. This is how we go and grow and do extraordinary things when people do as you are doing. So please come celebrate with us tomorrow morning. We also want to thank Abby, give a wave back there, Abby Irvin Rifkin, for being our greeter this evening. If you have questions, if you are on the board, give a wave too. Right? If you have any questions for any of our board members, many of them are wearing gold name tags, and please be sure to ask them any questions you might have. Tomorrow morning we have Torah study. We are in the final bits of Jeremiah. Get ready for Ezekiel. If you like that kind of study, we are almost there. And then we have bat mitzvah service and Shabbat morning services as we do each week. Shabbat services 10:30 tomorrow morning. Sunday morning we have adult education at 9:30, religious school also at 9:30, Hebrew at 10:30, and we have a community conversation around the inclusion of those who have mental health concerns and needs, and that is at 10:45. Please be sure to join us with our Accessibility and Inclusion Committee driving that discussion as well. We also want to remind you that next Friday night we will not be having services here. You can come, you will get a great parking spot, but we won't be here. We are joining together with those at Brit Kodesh to have Shabbat services together with Rabbi Hera Person, who is the president of the Central Conference of American Rabbis and a classmate of ours as well, and who is wonderful, and we're hoping that you can join us there at 6 p.m. at Brit Kodesh next Friday night. We also want to make sure you note on your calendars the annual Interfaith Thanksgiving service this year. It is being held at the First Universalist Church at 11 a.m. As you know, the oldest interfaith Thanksgiving service anywhere in the country, and it is a wonderful way, very powerful and brief, I will tell you, a powerful, brief, and lovely coming together across the faith communities to really be thankful and to come together. And if you can make it, I highly recommend it. We want to offer thanks to Barbara Davis for sponsoring the Oneg at the Kiddush after services. Please join us in the social hall. And then last 2 announcements from here: the Levine Center to End Hate. Please, if you haven't seen the posters everywhere, there is a dialogue with Pardeep Kaleka and Arno Michaelis, who shared their story of forgiveness and hate, how one has moved from being a white nationalist into being in dialogue with those he was persecuting and was violent toward. This will be at the Lyric Theater on November 21st at 7 p.m. across from the Jewish Federation on East Avenue. Tickets are for sale. You can find them on our website and also on the Federation website. That will be an extraordinary discussion and is almost sold out, is my understanding. And then last, we have on December 5th our Rochester Rapid Response Network, which is offering a training for those interested in helping immigrants who are facing detention. You can have more discussion at the ONEG with Liz, who is here and who is helping to drive that, and others from the Social Action Committee. And we have a firm cutoff date for that. That's also November 22nd, so if you can, please register. It is open first to our congregation and then to the community. So please, if that is something that you are looking to do, please let us know as well. Any news that we should know from you? Any joys, any successes, any celebrations, and any community news that we should know? Okay. Well, then we will look forward to joining you right after Motzi in the social hall. And yes? We will make Motzi. We will give thanks for all that nourishes and sustains us. And I invite you please to make Motzi with us. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Our closing song you will find in your prayer book on page 643. Please join us in Hallelujah. For our closing benediction, I want to share these words that are offered to us from our interfaith, one of our interfaith partners, a blessing of angels. May the angels in their beauty bless you. May they turn towards you. May they turn towards you streams of blessing. May the angel of awakening stir your heart to come alive to the eternal within you, to all the invitations that quietly surround you. May the angel of healing turn your wounds into sources of refreshment. May the angel of imagination enable you to stand on the true thresholds, at ease with your ambivalence, and drawn in new directions through the glow of your contradictions. May the angel of compassion open your eyes to the unseen suffering around you. May the angel of wildness disturb the places where your life is domesticated and safe. Take you to the territories of true otherness, where all that is awkward in you can fall into its own rhythm. We join together, please, as we rise for our closing benediction. Adonai Ozeh Amo Yiten Adonai Yivarech et Amo V'Shalom. May God grant strength to our people. May God bless all people in all places with peace. And let us join together and say, Amen. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat shalom. How are you? Nice to see you.
Is Tamsin away?
She's not.
Oh, okay.
She's reclining.
Declining services.
Well, she's reclining. Reclining and declining. Yes, we saw it. I'm still traumatized from the whole thing, actually.
I'm thinking about the 3 years. Yeah.
It's a little over the top. You saw it?
We saw it last night.
Oh,
Very intense.
it's very intense and fabulously active,
Yeah.
but quite wrought.
Yeah.
What do you think? I mean, in terms of...
Like, okay, so we have our own perspectives on things, and where you come from may change your perspective. But then history is there's a rigorous way. So I read this history website, and people write in
The counterfactual.
yeah, but it's the bad. But then again,
No, I know.
no one told them.
That makes sense.
I would probably steer clear of the
Jimmy Barber?
I have met Barbara and I will be speaking to her again. Jeff, how are you?
Good. How you doing, Jamie?
Awesome talk.
Thank you.
I look forward to being here tomorrow. I'm going to present. So I'm very happy. Awesome. Yeah, 5 generations.
That's awesome.
Wow, that's really something. That's an incredible horizon that you have. That you get to live.
Usually who can be
Well, I suppose that there's something to be said for that, because you get to 5 generations.
Now, see where you are now? Yeah. So many months studying and
It's like that. I'm the same way I put that. In fact, in medical school, I had a suit. I took every test in that same suit. I take my course. You're one of those. I went back to my medical school, which is a job. I got there early to get that seat. I was so I was so superstitious. No, I never took a test. I never since.
Well, it worked. Yeah, but he passed away. Yeah. But I was seeing I was in the rock. Yeah.
Well, there's a reason. I just get all the kids.
In Walmart. All right.
Good to see you. Say hi to Keith.